It's Taste of Country Nights with Evan Paul, Season 2, Episode 21 with Luke Combs. What's your desert island album?
Oh, man, that's tough. Gosh, there's a lot. I mean, I have one album. There's only one. You can only listen to one album forever.
That's it, man. That's it.
Gosh, I don't know, like Tom Petty, Greatest Hits, Eagles, Greatest Hits, maybe. Like, there's just so much. There's so much there. You know, there's like so much good stuff going on there. You know, I'd feel like I'd really want bang for my buck, and I'd want to go Greatest Hits.
And speaking of greatest hits, Luke Combs certainly has a lot of hits under his belt, and we get into a good, long, deep conversation here with Luke Combs coming up. Also, a bonus on this episode, we sit down with country music legend Craig Campbell. He stopped by the Taste of Country Nights studio, and we tacked that onto the back of this Luke Combs episode. If you go back previously, you can check out any of our other episodes. Last week, we had Thomas Rhett on with us. The week before that, we had Chris Jansen and The Rock. Lainey Wilson was just hanging out. Just search for Taste of Country Nights on demand wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Hey, man, this new song's a little different from anything you released to radio, man. Is this like a new chapter?
I don't know about that. I think it was, something special for a special project.
Is it different, like sitting down to write knowing it's for a movie?
Oh, definitely different. Different approach, no doubt.
Like, what's different about it? Are you like, man, you feel more pressure?
I don't know about more pressure. I think, honestly, like a little bit more freedom in the writing room for something like this, right? Like it's outside of what I normally do, which I think is someone who loves to write songs and, create as an exciting thing. You know, it's like, it's a chance to like do something a little bit different, so it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Have you seen the movie and like where the song shows up?
I haven't. I have not.
Are you going to take the wife and are you going to take the kids in the station wagon and roll up?
I might have to, that'd be fun.
Okay. The story goes that Garth Brooks was considered to be one of the people that was almost in the first Twister. Do you have any acting ambitions?
I don't really, man. I just don't know if I'd be very good at it, but gosh, it's hard to have time to do anything but raise the boys and do these shows at the moment. So, definitely no time on the schedule for it right now.
I think you'd be good in like a Saved by the Bell type series, where you're like in high school and you're like
a gym teacher type,
like the athlete.
Yeah, probably too old for that at this point, though, right?
You've been teasing a lot of emotional songs, man.
Yeah.
Is that kind of where your next album's headed?
I don't know, man. I just been writing. Obviously, that's kind of where my headspace is with having, the two. I mean, our oldest son's not even 2 yet. So, it's just kind of hard to write or focus on anything else other than that, because that's what my world is right now. So, I think there's a chance that there could be more of that stuff on there for sure.
Is there a timeline of the new album?
I don't have one yet. I think I would love for it to be out tomorrow if it was done. I love getting new music out there, and I always get excited about new releases. That's why this one's given me a little bit of a like. I don't have to wait as long because I'm still getting something new out there. And, this can't come soon enough for sure.
I tell you, man, I got 2 kids too. I be crying all the time, man. Are you like an emotional dad?
Oh man, there's so many cool moments every day. I'm lucky to get to spend 3-4 days a week at home with the kids when I'm not on the road. And, we play 2 nights a week, and so the rest of the days I'm home with them. So that's what I'm doing. I go out and play some shows and come home and make breakfast and lunches and naps and diapers, and it's cool.
What's the latest like tear up moment? Do you remember?
Gosh, I don't know, man. There's a lot for sure. Sometimes I think writing some of these songs, you kind of have some of those moments too, where it just kind of all hits you at once. So there's been a few of those for sure.
Okay, we just watched the trailer for Lainey Wilson's Hulu special. You were there during the time, like writing with her in the trailer back in the day. What part of her story did you witness that we haven't really experienced yet?
She was just always a hustler, man. Like she's always been so respected, in my opinion, we have a lot of the same mutual friends, we kind of came up in the same writing circles, and hung out at the same places. And she's always just been a writer's writer. And she's an artist. I mean, she's just like someone that's impossible to not root for, because she's just such a great person, and she's always been that. She's everything that she claims to be, which I think there's so many people that aren't that. But she really has always just been so respected. And that started out, as a writer, man. I mean, she's an elite songwriter. And so that's the thing that I think people may not know is that, she's just an all around insane talent, and definitely deserves everything that's come her way. So I didn't know that was coming out. I have to check it out. That'd be nice. Be exciting.
Okay, she said, I just talked to her. She said that the first person that really texted her after she won Entertainer of the Year was you, and you sent her like a scroll like of a message.
Yeah.
Who did that? Who did that for you when you first won?
Gosh, you name it. It's like I think everybody that's, I think almost everyone that's won that award that is, that's still alive and breathing had reached out to me that week, from Keith Urban to Garth to Vince Gill to Luke Bryan, there was nobody that didn't reach out. And I think that's that was what was so cool about winning it, for me, was that it feels like this kind of elite fraternity of people who've won that award. And we all understand how much it meant to us and how important that award is to win, and the kind of responsibility that comes with winning that, and what it means for, where your career is and what you do for our genre and the way you represent it to the world. And so, yeah, it felt, and obviously Lainey's been someone that I've been friends with for, a decade now. And so I was thrilled when she won, man, and she deserves it.
Have you heard Randy Travis's new song?
I have. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think about did that change or support how you feel about AI in country music?
I think that's the best use case scenario for what it has the potential to do. I think it does open the door for, some things that wouldn't be used in the best way, but I think that is the best version of something that it could be used for. I was super excited to hear that. It sounds incredible, but yeah, it is. I think it's a razor's edge for sure.
What's your desert island album?
Oh man, that's tough. Gosh, there's a lot. I have one album. There's only one. You can only listen to one album forever.
That's it, man. That's it.
Can you cheat and go like greatest hits album or?
All right.
Okay. I'd probably do, gosh, I don't know, like Tom Petty greatest hits, Eagles greatest hits, maybe. Like there's just so much. There's so much there. There's like so much good stuff going on there. I'd feel like I'd really want bang for my buck, and I'd want to go greatest hits.
How long have you had the same phone number?
A decade, probably, at least, I would think. Yeah. Long time. Long time.
That's good, man. Yeah. You're the man. I hope your day is filled with deer piss and great stuff.
Right on, bud. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
See you, dude.
Later. All right, a special bonus to this episode. We had country star Craig Campbell stop by the Taste of Country Nights studio. Let's get into this one. Taste of Country here. We're hanging out with Craig Campbell. What's happening, man?
Man, I'm blessed. I had nothing to complain about.
Dude, I love the new album and the title of it. Like it's so simple, but when you look at it, New Class of '89. It's like, I don't know why, but it struck me like, oh, I wonder why no one's ever done that before. Because
you and me both, man. I'm shocked that I'm the first one to it.
That's great
because it's a big deal. That whole era of country music was so influential on a lot of country music singers, and I'm like, I can't believe anybody's not done this. And so I've been chomping at the bit for a long time, and here we are.
Did you scour the internet and try to find out to make sure? And then when you had the idea, were you like, man, I hope nobody beats me to this? Did you not talk about it?
I did do a quick search. There are several artists out there that have done some cover albums, but nobody has ever named it Class of '89. Right. I'm like, wow, it's like low hanging fruit, man.
You won your very first talent contest, as the story goes, doing John Michael Montgomery's "Be My Baby Tonight." Give me that story and describe where you were in life at that moment.
Well, I was 15. I was a freshman in high school. My sister signed me up for this contest. It was called the Jimmy Dean True Value Country Showdown.
Wow.
And it was a nationwide contest, but so at the local level, there was a bar there in town, and my sister signed me up, and she helped me pick my songs. I picked 2 songs. I had Foolish Pride by Travis Tritt, and then I had Be My Baby Tonight at John Michael Montgomery, and both of those songs were fairly current at that time. And I just thought "Be My Baby" was a banger. So signed up. I was 15 years old.
Wait, how'd you get into the bar?
Well, it was a nationwide contest, and they held the contest during the day. So
Okay.
so it was an all ages contest,
Okay.
and so yeah, 15. I won. I beat out 22 other contestants, and that just kind of that's where it all started. That's when I realized I wanted to be on stage at some level somehow for the rest of my life.
Okay, run me through the Craig Campbell style back then.
I didn't have one. I didn't have any style. Matter of fact, if you go back and look at some photos, it's awful. Case in point, the album art for Class of '89 is a picture that was taken right after I won that contest. And so you see me, I got this gaudy Brooks and Dunn, because Brooks and Dunn had their own line of shirts back then, and I had one of those. I had on some pants that were a little bit too short, a cowboy hat that I didn't know cowboy hats even had you could shape them. So it was one that I grabbed off the wall.
Shelf.
Yeah. And I didn't have a belt on. So it was just all wrong. So yeah, if you zoom in on that album art, it's terrible. But that's what I thought that's what I thought a country singer looked like.
When did that change? Like, when did a stylist come in and they were like, "Hey, man"?
Man, it has changed almost every 2 or 3 years since moving to Nashville. When I first moved to town, I had long hair. Flat iron. I had earrings because I was like trying to be cool, but I also had this traditional country sound. I figured out that didn't work pretty quick. Then I transitioned over to wearing a cowboy hat because I felt like that represented the music that I was going for. And even then, when I was signed to Bigger Picture, they dubbed me as the Southern gentleman. So we went through this phase of wearing like a 3-piece suit. It was odd. And then I grew a beard, and just because it was wintertime, and one of the label heads was like, "Man, you need to leave that because it looks cool." And so then I went through this phase of having a beard, and then fast forward, now I'm independent. I just dress like I want to dress.
Okay, I was going to say, it sounds like you were pretty influenced.
I was that guy, man. And I guess, and I get asked all the time if there's anything I would change about my path. And I guess one of the things is I should have put my foot down on some of that stuff. Like I'm not a 3-piece suit kind of guy. What's going on here? Those small things.
Well, some of the stuff like music that you wish you put your foot down to.
Yeah, there are songs, and I'm probably not going to name any of them because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. But there were a handful of songs that I was like, "Hey, you got to record this song." And if you don't, then we're not going to let you record these songs. It was like, because when they're paying the bills, you almost have to do what they say, or you'll just be put on a shelf. And I was scared of that. I didn't want that to happen.
All right. Another song on the album, on the other hand, you cover Randy Travis. Did you get to meet him pre-stroke?
Oh, no, I've never met him. Wait. No, I never officially met him, but I did see him at an event at Warner Brothers one time.
Okay.
But I never got to talk to him pre-stroke.
Okay. What was that event like? What were you doing?
Oh, I was just there. I was like, it was a CMA after party kind of thing.
Okay.
And I was in the room and I saw him over there and I'm like, oh my God. that's Randy Travis, and it's just starstruck.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a story out there about you meeting your wife because of that song. Is that true?
Well, I knew who my wife was. We, one of those small world stories. My bass player, before I moved to Nashville, I was touring all over the country. My bass player lived here. He lived in Nashville, and he dated her roommate. So I knew who she was. She always had a boyfriend, and then we were headed somewhere from Georgia to north, and we just stopped over in Nashville one night, and we stayed at we stopped by her house because that's where he lived. And we were just, passing the guitar around, and the guitar came to me, and I hit her with hit them with some On the Other Hand by Randy Travis. So that's the first song she ever heard me sing.
Wow. Okay.
And that's when she was like, well, wait a minute.
Well, what was her thought when she heard you re-recording it? Was she like, you still got it? Or what did she take? Did it put her back in that?
I think so. I think, she tells me occasionally, she'll say, she thinks that my voice is better now than it's ever been. And she does love my rendition of it, and the fact that, I recorded it because of that.
Okay.
That song is special to me because that's how I landed on her radar.
So each song on the album was chosen specifically for a feeling that it gave you?
Yeah, for sure. Every song has a story, and it's very special. Every song's on the record for a reason.
Okay. How do you make these like yours without stepping on the originals? Is that hard?
Well, when it comes to production, we wanted to stay as close as possible but at the same time, I wanted them to be different and be my version. There's some melodic changes I took the liberty of making, some production changes. But I did want to pay homage to the artists, the original artists, in the fact that those songs were awesome. And they were some of the reasons I fell in love with country music in the first place. So why would I want to change that?
So, what do you do when, for example, Luke Combs, when he covered Fast Car, there's a line in there about, I'm going to be a checkout girl, and he kept it checkout girl. Do you do things like that when you cover a song, or do you change it to fit you? Like, would you have changed it to, I'm a checkout boy? Oh,
I 100% would. It has to be gender specific for me. I'm not singing a girl song and then use girl adjectives. It's just like it's
interesting.
If I'm singing it from my perspective, and I'm 100% dude.
Okay, I thought that was interesting that he didn't change that. Okay.
And he may have a reason why he kept it that way. I don't know.
Okay. Let's talk about Killing Time. Should Clint Black? This is the conversation. Should Clint Black be in the Country Music Hall of Fame?
100%.
Okay.
Man, you go back and read his Wikipedia page. That dude, when he hit the scene and he cranked out those 5-6 number ones in a row and Horizon Award and all this, and just platinum. It's just like he was a true trailblazer.
What's it going to take?
Just got to vote. Somebody's got to vote on it and give him the love that he deserves.
Well, Toby Keith once told me that they won't put you in there until you die. Do you think that's the case?
I don't know. I hate that that is even the part of this. Like, hey, we're going to wait, but that if you've done certain things, you should
be. Yeah.
I feel like that whole class of '89, all of them should be in there. Garth, Clint, Travis Tritt, Alan Jackson. I think they all should be inducted at the same time. Those four.
Yeah.
Those four, because of that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
They bridged the 80s to the 90s and changed the game to forever. And I feel like they deserve recognition for that.
Have you met, other than the Randy Travis story you told earlier, all of the people's songs that you covered? Have you gotten a chance to meet all of them?
I have. Heroes? I've been fortunate. I met Garth for the first time when he actually recorded one of my songs, and he invited all the songwriters to the studio to listen to the album, and I got to meet him there. Alan, we had the same producer, so I got to meet him early on. Did a bunch of shows with him early on. Travis, same. He was my number one and I always wanted to meet him, and met him for the very first time because he came in and sang on a record with me a few years ago, and then obviously Clint Black, I've met him most recently.
Okay, so other than the people that are on the record, without naming names, have you ever met one of your heroes and been like disappointed?
Oh yeah, I'm glad you said no. Yeah, but
You don't have to give me it. So nobody on the record and no names. But,
yeah.
So like, how did they disappoint you per se?
Just how they treated me as the support act.
Okay.
And the things that I had heard, because they always say don't meet your heroes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they were, whoever told me that they maybe called him on a bad day. But everything that I had heard about this dude was times 10, and it was just. But I still love his music. If it comes on, I jam and I sing along. It's just but I just as a hang, I doubt I'll ever have a beer with him.
And you wish you didn't.
I had been prepped that he was that way, so I wasn't totally caught off guard.
Okay,
but yeah.
I want to talk about your Grindstone Cowboy. If people don't know, it's a coffee shop you have here in Nashville, and you're going to be possibly expanding. Is that
man?
Yeah.
When we opened, we're about to celebrate 2 years. When we opened, we didn't realize how fast this thing was going to take off, and we've been blessed. It's crazy, and so we've had several people reach out to come to us and say, hey, would you want to open one of these here? Would you want to open one of these there? And so we've agreed. We partnered with some folks down in Shelbyville, Tennessee. We got a big location going up down there on the square. And then we also have a location going in Florida on 30A, Santa Rosa Beach. And so we're excited about it. It's scary because even when we opened the initial location, we had no idea what we were doing. And it's kind of the same now. It's like, wow. I mean, are we doing this too soon? But I don't think so. I think we have a good product. We have a great brand, and I feel like it's going to do well.
Well, if you're going to franchise out, you got to know your menu. So I scoured your menu, and I want to see how would you make me a Cuban?
A Cuban?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 shots of espresso, sweetened condensed milk, maybe a shot of vanilla, and latte froth foam. Yeah.
Oh, you pass? All right. What about your caramel macchiato?
Okay, so a caramel macchiato for me is I'm simple. I just do a vanilla latte reversed. I always, you do it and then you do the espresso last, so it kind of sits on top.
Okay. Someone comes into the Grindstone Cowboy and they say, hey, Craig, give me a red eye.
So that's 2 shots of espresso finished off with regular house drip coffee.
Wow, he does know his stuff. Now, can you get whiskey in your coffee?
100%.
Wow. Okay.
That's the beauty of Grindstone. Grindstone is not just a coffee shop. It's a full bar. It's a music venue. We just won Music Venue of the Year in Rutherford County. It's a restaurant. All that. So you can get all that in your coffee.
Dude, what's the best liquor coffee? I've tried Cafe Patron. I've tried all the Kahlua. I'm looking for something different.
We have a thing. We bought something called Mr. Coffee. It's a coffee liqueur, and it's awesome. You can add it to any of the coffee, and it doesn't really kind of change the flavor of the coffee. It just gives you that little buzz if you want it.
No, what's the hardest liquor I can add to my coffee without it tasting nasty?
Oh, I mean, Blanton's. If you want to throw a shot of whiskey, straight up. Yeah.
Do people ever do that?
Yeah.
Are you like, man, rough morning?
Or they're expecting it to be a rough morning.
What's next for you in 2024 after this album drop?
Man, I got some really cool stuff that I'm working on. I got another album that should drop at the end of the year. So I went back and I re-recorded all of my radio hits.
Oh, wow.
That were never number ones, because I've never had a number one. So they were all close. So the name of the album is Almost Greatest Hits.
That's great.
So that'll be towards the end of the year. And then, we're focusing on the other 2 locations with Grindstone. And so the plate is full. So we'll just see how to manage that.
When you re-recorded all your older hits, were there any key changes?
Yeah.
Do you hide that fact?
No. There was one song that I dropped a half step just because it was my producer at the time. I even mentioned it to him back then. He's like, "No, let's just go for it." And I didn't like the key then. But out of my head, I dropped a half step. So,
Okay.
And I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed of that.
Do you when you play it now, do you tell? I'm asking because there was this Billy Joel concert that was at Madison Square Garden that just aired, and he did a big piece about, he said he can't hit the notes that he used to, but forgive him. Do you feel that way when you do older songs? Do you have to say that to the crowd? Or?
No, because I don't. Out of my head's pretty much the only one.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I never wanted to do it in that key to begin with.
Yeah.
So yeah, out of my head. And a lot of folks do that as they get older. Their register their range is not as well. Bon Jovi, John Bon Jovi can't hit those notes.
Yeah,
and so they drop their songs a lot. But it happens, and I know that'll happen. I'll have to do that one day. But I'm good now.
Yeah, you're good now. But hey, when that happens, just go work at the coffee shop. Man.
That's it.
Well, thanks for stopping by, man.
Man, I appreciate you.
Yeah, of course. Let's bring in Billy Dukes from behind the camera to talk about these interviews.
All right, let's be honest now. You were pumping Craig Campbell for coffee information and how he would make you certain orders from his coffee shop. Did you know the answers to those questions, or were you pulling that off online or his menu or something?
I pulled it off his menu, so I had the answers. So I was holding him to it, and I gotta be honest too. I didn't think he was gonna get any of them. I thought okay. Maybe he has his name behind the restaurant. He goes in, right. He does but when you really get into the woods, of what the actual ingredients are, like acai berries and all. Yeah. He knew all of it, which leads me to believe that he really knows his business.
He's back there. He's back there working the thing.
Yeah, he's into it. Yeah. And what also is cool about Craig Campbell is that every time that he comes in, which, both times, last time he brought a hat from his coffee shop, and the time before he brought some coffee.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool that he's really cool.
So what is your coffee shop order if you're going to his coffee shop or wherever you're going? What are you getting?
Just boring. I'm just getting the regular with skim, non-fat, and Splenda.
Okay, that's a little high maintenance. Not too bad.
What?
I mean, simple is black. Black is black. But you start doing milk variations and Splenda.
That's high maintenance.
Sugar.
What about a mocha frappadappa?
No, I said a little high maintenance.
Okay.
I used to do this thing where I would ask artists how they take their coffee as a way to sort of like a little personality test.
Uh-huh.
The one I remember Charles Kelly. He put a little bit in there. He was getting busy with the different milk types and it was very. But the one guy, and this is totally on brand for him, who was just I just take a black. Ronnie Dunn, black.
Wow.
100% fits, doesn't it?
You
think Ronnie Dunn, you think of him maybe out on the ranch, which is just a cup of black coffee. You don't care about it.
The other thing with that, though, that fits, but you have to hit a Ronnie Dunn level to be able to drink black coffee. Now, let me explain. Any normal person going to drink black coffee, that's as I heard lately, a rich ask of the place that you're at.
Why?
Because black coffee has no flavoring. So if you're drinking black coffee and you stop into a local Mapco or something a local
gas station,
Dixieland's Jones's gas station, you know what I'm saying? And you get that gas station cup. Chances are it's probably not going to be great. It's probably going to be this tastes like garbage. But if you're at the Ronnie Dunn level and you're getting black coffee, you're guaranteed to be, I'm sure you're getting Starbucks or top of the line coffee.
I disagree. I'm a black coffee drinker.
Okay.
In the morning, I put a little sugar. But later in the day or whenever I'm traveling, just black. And what I really like is gas station coffee.
What?
If it's decent. I don't like Starbucks. It's too sharp for me. But I find, I'm trying to think of the name of the gas station. It's
I could tell you the ones are good ones, I think.
Right off Thompson and Broad in Murfreesboro, there's a new gas station that just popped up. It's really good coffee there, but Mapco is not very good.
Yeah, I mean, I Loves are all good.
Yes.
Wawa, if you know where those are.
Right, the higher end one. Buc-ee's probably has a good cup of coffee.
Buc-ee's is great.
I've never been to a Buc-ee's, so I don't know.
Buc-ee's is great. 7-Eleven and Circle K is good.
Yep.
Sheetz is all right. It's all right. But other than that, I don't know. Flying J is awful.
You can kind of tell what you're getting by the place. Like if it's a little dank, like hole in the wall gas station, where you need a key to use the bathroom.
Gross.
Oh, don't get coffee there.
Right. Okay, but but like, how do I tie this back to the Ronnie Dunn thing? Because Ronnie Dunn wouldn't be going to that place.
I feel like he would.
Nah. Okay. I mean,
feel like he would.
Yeah, and I also feel like he drinks like shots of coffee, but hot, like in like a little plastic cup. Man, give me that, and he just shoots it.
Good interview with Greg. He's always a favorite. He mentioned Clint Black as his Hall of Fame choice, as well, which I think is no one talks about Clint Black as for the Hall of Fame as much, and I'm not really sure I understand why, because he had a really long line of hits. I just think maybe he doesn't have like that one or two songs that have endured in the way like an Alan Jackson, Chattahoochee, or a Garth Brooks, Friends in Low Places, or The Dance has.
Yeah, I mean, part of the problem is that he's alive, and
he's still pretty active.
Yeah, so I mean,
and he seems pretty young too.
Yeah, I mean, is Garth Brooks isn't in?
Oh yeah, he's in.
Oh, he is. Okay,
yeah.
How many artists are alive that are in?
Quite a few. I think it ends up being about 50% of the new, when they do a modern day era, about at least half, if not more. Are
okay. So would you say that Clint Black is in the elite 50% that should?
I think he deserves to be in, but he might be in the Veterans Era committee, because I'm not sure if he's like, if I was to say top 5 artists get in the Hall of Fame right now, I'm not sure if I'm putting Clint Black on that list.
Okay. Who are you putting on there, man?
Well, I mean, Toby was one, but he's getting in. I would have put Toby in there. An odd one that no one thinks about that I think deserves to be in there is Alison Krauss.
Okay.
Trisha Yearwood I would put in that list. Tim McGraw, I think, is a contemporary who deserves to be in there. And then, how many is that, 4? Yeah,
well, what about Faith Hill?
I think Clint Black gets in before Faith Hill. Yeah.
Faith Hill, Trisha Yearwood before Faith Hill?
Shania gets in there first. Trisha Yearwood before Faith Hill, yeah.
Okay. Shania's pretty active now, too, right?
She is, but she's got such a small catalog. I think that's kind of what holds her back. Plus, she lives in, like, Switzerland or something. I think the social politics kind of get in the way for her, but she's certainly deserving.
She lives in Switzerland?
She does, yeah.
That's cool, man.
Most of the year. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, she's got a lot of money.
I think Luke Combs will get in. I think he's already on a Hall of Fame. Yeah. He's got enough number 1 hits. He just needs to more or less stay relevant. I mean, he's got multiple Entertainer of the Years. He's a Grand Ole Opry member. That gets you in.
Yeah, he has something coming to the Country Music Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. What is that? Like
just an exhibit of some sort.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of the details of it, but it's probably like, you know how they do it.
That's pretty
get
big.
Little mementos from like your childhood and your yearbook and your first guitar, or some love note that you sent your ex-girlfriend Sally that she was.
So if you, Billy Dukes, made it, all of a sudden, like Luke Combs status, like, I don't think my mom has. Yeah, my mom's got some stuff of mine. Would your mom have that stuff? Do you have that stuff?
She'd have a lot of report cards.
Here's Billy Dukes' report card.
My baseball card collection? I don't know what you're going to do with that.
Yeah, that's not.
Like,
I need something more personal. Like, they're not going to put Luke Combs' baseball card collection at the Country Music Hall of Fame.
What am I getting in for? Am I getting in for...
let's say
presumably if I was in for music, I would have played music my whole life, so I'd have like a guitar or some songwriting sheets or something like that.
Let's say you're not a songwriter and you don't play any music and you just stumbled on a career where you sing.
Okay.
And you're just great at it, but you didn't start singing until you were 21.
Or just out of nowhere. I just opened my
everyone
voice
was like, oh my gosh, this guy can sing.
Like where it is like birds
like
cried.
Ann Wilson, yes.
Right, okay.
If you look her up.
I think my Hall of Fame exhibit would be a little thin, Evan. I don't know that I'd have much to offer him.
You don't have anything? Like my mom's got my first like jock strap.
Jesus.
Like,
what the hell for?
Just has everything.
I mean, to blasphemy, but I feel like that's worth it.
Everything's in a box.
Well, my parents moved and they tried to give all that stuff back to me.
Oh.
I'm like, just take that around the side of the house.
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep, like, I opened it up. It was like a pair of like pajama pants where I stretched the the waistband and all crackled.
Yeah.
And a real weird odor.
Yeah.
Just throw that away. What am I going to do with that? Give it to my kids?
Yeah, there comes a time, if you haven't hit it yet, if you're listening, you will. If you have, where your parents just start to dump your stuff on you.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was the deal.
Yeah, you just got to figure out what you want and what you don't.
I'm not doing that to my kids. I'm going to get rid of my stuff long before I give it to my kids.
Man, I haven't really thought about it, to be honest.
We don't save a lot of their stuff, like the report cards and stuff, because it's all digital now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the one thing. Let me know if you save this. The tooth fairy comes.
Haven't had that yet, but we are saving the teeth.
You're saving the teeth.
Yes, only because I don't know what my mom was thinking, but when Libby, my 5-year-old, was born, one of the gifts my mom just sent off Amazon was a wooden case that looks like a pair of dentures, and you open it up and you save the teeth in it, and then you close it. You keep all of their baby teeth. So we've had this for 5 years now. She hasn't lost a tooth yet. So apparently we're going to keep them.
You realize that at a certain point, someone's going to look and realize this is the problem I have. I have a random box of children's teeth in my house, which is, that's enough to get you arrested. I feel like.
Touche. I mean, hey.
But it comes in handy because here's a story, and I hope we're not blowing the coop on the tooth fairy thing for anybody, but my mom still has mine all these years later.
Oh.
My son was down visiting her in Florida.
Wait a minute. That should be in your Country Music Hall of Fame exhibit. Your teeth.
Weird. So my son was down there visiting her and lost a tooth. My mom misplaced the tooth and wanted to give it to my son to come home, put it on the tooth fairy. She grabbed one of my old teeth and swapped it out and said, "Here's your tooth. Take that home."
It must have aged good.
They don't age. It looks the same.
Wow, and he bought it?
Yeah, oh yeah,
wow.
Flying the sinker. Yeah.
Now, when are you going to let him know what happened?
Well, he knows now. He's the oldest of 3.
Oh.
He knows the tooth fairy, and now he blackmails me.
Oh, but does he know the swap?
I don't think we've told him about the swap.
Yeah, when's he going to know about the swap?
I'll tell him about it. He'd get a kick out of that now. He's 12. He's old enough to know. But now he knows the youngers, because the younger two still believe in the tooth fairy. And he's like, "Yeah, lost another tooth, Mom and Dad."
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. With the kids. And I can't say anything. I'm like, "Oh, all right. Guess the tooth fairy's coming."
Yeah. That's cool that okay, all right.
Tooth fairy, hopefully. Kind of looking for a new Nintendo game.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes there, kid.
It's $1.
Ask Luke Combs next time he comes in.
How much the tooth fairy pays?
And if he's going to save his kids' teeth.
That's a good question.
Make that your new supercut question.
That's a good tie. I like that. I'll do that. Yeah. If you have new kids, that's a good, because all the country artists that are coming up right now having kids, they're all about that age.
Yeah.
You joke, but that's a good question.
I don't think we talked a minute about any of these interviews, did we?
I don't think so. I mean, a little bit about the Craig Campbell.
Well, I suppose that's true.
What did you want? Did you have anything about the Luke Combs?
Well, the one thing that surprised me with Luke Combs is you asked him about acting ambitions, and he was a hard no on that.
Yeah, I got the feeling that he just doesn't want to. I got the feeling that he doesn't want to do anything outside of going and playing 2 or 3 shows a week and come home and spend time with his family.
But don't you think if someone was really serious about it, he'd reconsider? Would he really say no if he could be in a movie with, I don't know, Tom Cruise or something? I don't know, a big actor.
Why aren't these big country artists playing themselves more? I think that should start happening, where a Tom Cruise goes to a show and there's Luke Combs.
Yeah, that happens from time to time.
Let's do that more. That would be sweet.
Right. That does feel, but that's a long day on set too. So I applauded that, sticking in his lane, not feeling like he needs to do that acting thing. Yeah, and it feels like him and his wife very low key. I think they still have their same house or they're building one, and right.
I don't know. It just feels like he just lives real low key and just won't do anything like that. But I could be wrong. I mean, I'd love to see him on a sitcom.
He's like country music's Warren Buffett. He's just sitting back in a small little house, and
he's just making money, man.
He's just investing.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably makes good cash every show he does.
Yeah,
and just
his portfolio is just
massive. Even after whatever happened with that lawsuit thing, did that go away? He got sued or his company sued.
Oh, for the merchandise thing?
Yeah.
I think he squashed that. I don't
Okay.
I don't think they ended up suing that woman.
Interesting.